Hey everyone, Wayne Unger back for episode 4 of our Election 2020 series where we talk about the issues ahead of November 3rd. Today's topic is going to be the First Amendment and more specifically the inherent right to protest and dissent. This goes back to our history as a country. Back before the American Revolution, in 1773, we had the Boston Tea Party, where protesters threw tea into the harbor out of protest and to show their dissent against the British Empire and the taxation without representation. So protesting is as old as this country. Our country was founded on protesting the British Empire, and our country was founded on this idea that you can dissent against your government. Now, it really upsets me when our government says you cannot protest or infringes on that right of protest. Now, of course, there's a difference between nonviolent protests and then violent protests. Protests that say, hey, we're going to demonstrate and just express our opinion, against protests that are like, we're going to destroy property and burn the city down. Of course, there's a big difference there. I'm talking about nonviolent protests. Now, the Trump administration is guilty of infringing upon the right to protest and dissent. Now, more specifically, they removed peaceful protesters from Lafayette Square after the killing of George Floyd. But more recently, we're hearing reports from federal officials under oath who are testifying that federal officials began to stockpile ammunition and seek devices that could emit deafening sounds and make anyone within range feel like their skin is on fire. Holy shit. That is grossly inappropriate and actually grossly un-American if we think about it, right? If 1773, we had the Boston Tea Party, our country founded on the right to protest, and now we're going to say we're going to squash dissenters. We're going to squash protesters. That is grossly un-American because that's against our own history and that's against our own fundamental principles. Now, the effect here of taking down peaceful protesters in using tear gas and chemical weapons as an example, now that is the government saying to us that you cannot protest. You cannot dissent because we will come at you with violence in response. Again, that is so grossly un-American. So to my colleagues and my friends and my family and everyone who's watching this video, if you parade around other amendments, if you parade around things like the Second Amendment and say, hey, I have a right to bear arms, well, we can't pick and choose. You also have the First Amendment and you have a right to protest. So if you're going to say, hey, I pride myself on the right to bear arms, you have to say, hey, I pride myself on our country's right to protest and dissent our government. That's the rule of law. That's constitutional law. More videos to come. Share this, educate your friends and family in your network, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.